to Heard It on the X.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is Rich Rogan-Moser. You're listening to Heard It on the X. Right now, we are joined by Frank Pusateri. Hi, Frank.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy? Everyone's feeling sick.
What a great day.
Hello. It is a great day. The Bills didn't play today,
Well,
so
it's
it's almost like they won.
At least, yeah, we didn't have to put up with that.
Stats didn't change.
I consider it to be a win.
I consider it to be a win, too, just not having to even bear into that.
Well, we'll get to that at a different time. So, Frank, you have been playing in the Buffalo area, Western New York area, for 40 years. Obviously, you started at the age of 1.
At birth, I was singing a high C.
How has the music industry in Buffalo changed? I mean, I remember I can tell you some stuff. I remember in the 80s, I think it was, because everything gets foggy after a while. Jeff Munzer and myself, stopping at Mannequins and seeing Only Human, and this was, I mean, there had to be 1,200 people in Mannequins at the time.
Those were the great days.
Yeah, they were different times, right? They were
fantastic times. Yeah, I mean, we've had a rush of big crowds. We've, goes through different phases. Only Human's 23 years old, so, like I say, it goes in and out. We don't get the 1,200 people nights anymore, but we definitely keep busy. And I think it let it sustain itself, just from the name of the band. I've had a lot of changes. I've always had good people in the band. But we sustained the changes. We adjusted to them. And the times from the different clubs, and they have their hardships too. I can't imagine. I think Ron mentioned it. Being a club owner today, opening a new club has got to be really tough.
I want to talk about some of the past, but one of the things that I was just thinking about while you're saying that, 23 years of Only Human, and you have spawned some. You've always helped out younger musicians. I mean, you've always. I think Mickey started in your band, right?
The K's, yeah.
Dustin Francis. Marty Nightingale played for.
Marty Nightingale.
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking about some.
You remember him quicker than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because
all good friends of mine. It's just that trying to remember all the guitar players we've had, and some of them were already established, and these were the newer guys that were coming up.
Yeah.
At the time, yeah.
I mean, for you to have an established band and take these younger guys and bring them in. I mean, they're all great players, like you said. So that wasn't
didn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't
hurt at all.
But I mean, for you to take a chance on them, that's great. So it started way back. The first big band of yours was Jambo, right?
Yes. Yes, basically came out of a basement band, and with a friend of mine, and we were just trading chords back and forth for years, but we always wanted to be the next Beatles, And what ends up happening is we're sitting at the Barrelhead, and the Barrelhead at that time played 7 nights a week, and we're sitting there going, I can't imagine playing 7 nights a week, Since up to then we might have played twice in a year.
Yeah.
And playing 7 nights a week was just not in our thinking. But that night, the band that was on stage happened to be breaking up, and so the keyboard player at the time came over and said to me, we're breaking up, we're looking for a bass player and a guitar player. And I said, well, yeah, we could do it. Basically jumping into a 12-foot pool and then don't know how to swim.
Right.
And so we hooked up for a Sunday. This was a Thursday. We hooked up for Sunday to get together and try it out. And so on the way out, my buddy says to me, what are we going to do? Who's going to play bass? I go, I guess I am. So from Thursday to Sunday, I had to learn a couple of tunes. I didn't own a bass. I didn't own an amp. Nothing like that. I borrow some bunch of stuff, and I get down there, and they're running through some tunes, and I'm playing the most basic root bass you can imagine, of course. And then what happens is I knew how to sing harmonies, and they were having a little tougher time with that. So I was concentrating on getting them to do more singing and less music.
Yeah.
And that's how we got the band going, and that was called Jambo.
No kidding. Did the guitar player make it too, or did they just
made it too? No, he made it too. Basically, it was a new band. It was Tom Makar, Rick Collins was our drummer, Russ Costello was keyboards, and Rufus Campbell was our guitar player. And Rufus eventually had to he was going to go into service. He got drafted, and so he left the band. And then that was about a year into it. Then we got Ken Wilczak.
Okay.
Fat Brat.
Yeah, Ken, another Buffalo legend right there. And did you grow up in the Westside area? Is that where you grew up?
I never grew up rich.
Exactly.
It's really kind of tough.
I know
to
you
answer
well.
That question.
But I mean, are you? Because it seems like there's years, there was just a new area where, like the Kenmore area produced a ton of great musicians. West Seneca produced a ton of, and when you said Barrelhead, you were I was just thinking.
Yeah, when we played at Barrelhead, I was living in South Buffalo then.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. So that area.
Yeah, and met a lot of great people, which eventually, when I hooked up with Ray Wood,
another player, I forgot about him too. That's another player from Only Human who's fantastic.
Yeah. We started the band pretty much together, went through a couple phases of it until we hit one that really hit hard, and that was with Bruce Morgan, Ray, and myself. And that's the one that probably you saw.
That's the Mannequins.
And then even that changed a little later. Bruce had moved away, and we got Sherry Maslowski and Rick McAvoy in the band, and that was a very popular version of it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, with the name was as big as it was. You're talking early '90s then. We could make changes and sustain them, But boy, as time went on, for different reasons, different people had to come and go, and
right.
That's how it is in general. But we've always had a good time.
It's always been a great band too. It's always been a top flight band. I mean, it really has. And a lot of the things that you did, I remember this, a lot of the stuff that you did business-wise was really cutting edge. I remember walking into Mannequins, and you would have a table set. This is pre-internet, pre-email.
Yes.
You would have a table set up, and there was a sign-in sheet, and you signed your name, and in the mail, you would get the Only Human schedule. I mean, there was really brilliant stuff that you were doing. And I don't remember another local band doing that, really.
No, well, we always tried to do things just a little off kilter to make it a noticeable thing rather than just hit them in the face with it. Just change some things around so that when people did come in, they'd go, I noticed that band was turned this way instead of every other band plays looking this way,
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff we would do too.
Yeah, brilliant marketing stuff. And now you actually have Lion's Heart Studios too, so musically, you just cover all ends of things. Lion's Heart.
I've always wanted to be in music. I know exactly what happened the day it happened and why it happened, but trying to make it happen was the hard part, of course. But I mean, the day before the Beatles came out, I can remember I was going to Catholic school, and the nuns were asking me, "This is a quarter note. How many beats?" I'm going, "What am I ever going to use this for?"
Yeah.
Then the Beatles came on, Ed Sullivan, and I knew exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah.
The rest of I'm like 11 years old then or something.
Another Beatles Ed Sullivan.
Everybody has that story.
No doubt.
Everybody has that same story. It's amazing how deeply and profoundly that affected American culture.
That night we're up on our kitchen table, my brothers and me, with brooms, imitating
the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's funny when you hear that story that how many people were just profoundly affected by that one event. Absolutely incredible. So the studio's open for business, open to the public if somebody wants to go to the studio.
It is, yeah. I've had a number of different people come in and do recordings, and of course I record my own stuff. Michael Bly's newest album was recorded there, CD, and it was a labor of love. We definitely had a ball doing it. He made a few band changes in the meantime too, and as the producer, I brought different players in to do different things. But it was a pretty satisfactory one.
Yeah, I've heard Michael's disc. Great disc.
Together,
Great disc. What now? Is there a LionsHeartStudio.com or is there a .com for only?
There is LionsHeart.com. Actually, I've actually kind of joined them all together under OnlyFrank.com.
Okay, OnlyFrank.com.
That will get you there the easiest. It's because we spell human with the E, and sometimes they can't get there, so I kind of put it all under OnlyFrank.com to make it a little easier.
I got a great story about you spelling that human with the E. I remember at one time when Mick was in the band, this is a while ago, I think it was a Christmas gift, you were going to get him a Christmas gift, these picks that had his name on it. So you called me up, "Hey Rich, can you get these?" I'm like, "Sure." So I sent it into the company, and I think I did it over the phone. They spelled human wrong, and so I had like 700 picks or something.
Well, they spelled it right, but they spelled it wrong for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like poor kids, they used to go to school and argue with their teachers. It's with the E. So I'm thinking of changing Only Frank and take that A out and make that an E too.
Really, that's right. The reason why I'm writing this website down is if you've never listened to the show, Frank, I am the Jack the Ripper of web addresses.
Just terrible.
So I need to actually read them.
Horrible.
Well, just, you can get there with OnlyHuman.com. You can get there with LionsHeart.com, and you can get there with, OnlyFrank.com. So any one of those three will work. Get you to the same place.
Perfect.